That's great.
Yep.
You can wipe that right down.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was wondering too, like, and the accessories can change, but like you said, your main lifts will change on a weekly basis, but your dynamic efforts will change every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks, and then if you choose to deload, that's fine.
So I like that in the 3 week blocks like that, because that kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of. It's not like you're doing like a 15-week program or something like that, unless you're getting ready, maybe for a competition or something like that. Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you then too. So with something like that, like the conjugate method here, which I really like, I think I can actually recover better, to tell you the truth, from it. Would you use that for a meet prep or something like that? Or
there is a way to modify it for meet prep. I am not super familiar with that. I have to get back to you on it, but there's documentation out there on how to leverage that.
Gotcha.
At this point, I've viewed that so infrequently and so few times that I wouldn't even really be able to speak to it right now.
Right.
But yeah, there's definitely ways.
Yeah, I find that some of my traditional, I always like the 5x5 programs, those types of things or whatever. But I find I was always excessively really sore with some of those sometimes. And this one, I seem to have a little. I like the dynamic days and stuff like that, where I kind of can have a little bit more recovery, I guess, especially as I get older. The older I get, I'm a little bit.
Yeah. And generally, what Louis has said in some of the videos that I've watched is that the speed days with the 8 sets of 3, 12 sets of 2, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That work generally takes more time. So because they were training in groups of 5, 8, I don't know. It would take a little bit longer to get through that portion of the workout. So a lot of times, once they were done with the speed work, they were pretty much done with their workout because they didn't like to train more than 45 to 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think those at least with myself right there, I feel like I moved to the dynamic days because I train by myself. I'm not a big partner guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to get through it probably within 40 minutes or 45 minutes or something like that, and that's at a good clip. So. Now that's another question. So with the dynamic movements, so what is usually the rest period between with your we do 8 sets of 3. You're doing a fast speed controlled movement.
Yep.
What are you resting in between there?
When Evan and I do it, basically as soon as one guy's done, the next guy gets in there.
Okay.
And so basically you can go as short of a rest period as you like. But you need to make sure you're getting enough rest so that the bar is still moving fast.
Gotcha.
And the indicator that he always spoke about was 0.8 meters per second.
Okay.
So really, you know what a grinder rep feels like.
Yeah.
You know what, like, if you're doing a set of 5, what the speed would be.
Right.
So you want to be faster than those.
Gotcha.
So you want to make sure that the bar is moving. Like if you set up a video and you watched it, I don't know how to actually measure 0.8 meters per second with just conventional equipment, but you want to make sure that it's going fast, and you want to move the bar as fast as you can safely with good form. And
you can do box squats with speed days too, right? Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Those? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So a box squat you're actually moving back and sitting on the box, right?
You're pushing your hips back,
posterior,
and you find the box.
Okay.
So what you want to shoot for is a box that's slightly below parallel, that you're able to control your body all the way to the box.
Okay.
Okay, and that way that ensures that you're loading your posterior chain throughout that range of motion.
And I've read a couple different things. Do you relax on that box?
You don't relax. What you do is you kind of disengage the hip flexor.
Okay, all right.
So what you're doing is you're taking away some of that kinetic energy that you're storing
before you start back up. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's for your speed days, right? Those are for your speed days?
Well, under my understanding, for a box squat for 1 rep for a max effort day, you would do the same thing.
Same thing. Okay. Great. Those are great. Yeah.
And what he always said was that the West Side squatters would very rarely, if ever, do a squat without a box. They would always do box squats because box squats are harder.
Yeah.
So.
No, I found that, and even since I've been doing this, I think my knee, I torqued my knee training for my last meet, and it's gotten a little bit better. I've started to work. I find that sometimes a lot of times lifters will say, oh, I can't do that, so they don't do anything, either back off the exercise altogether. But if you find yourself an in point, like when I got down to 90 degrees, my patella would rub on the inside of my knee. I get a little grinding in there. It's started an inflammatory process. So I started to work for like 45 degrees, and then went down to 55 degrees, and around for a couple of weeks, and then variation until I'm finally I'm almost down to like 90 degrees. So it's starting to work out that back again.
Yep.
And I think I was able to work at those sub pain levels, and it's starting to kick back in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Louis also used to talk about when you were on the box, your shin angle should actually be backwards. So like normally on like an Olympic squat, your knee would come forward.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're straight up and down for a 90-degree angle, and then on a box squat, you're actually slightly back, so that.
So your feet are out. Your feet are out a little farther in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because he compares the box squat to a leg curl because there's somewhat of a pull off of the box.
I got
with
you.
the hamstrings.
Yep.